Okay, this is a Cub Cadet 2016 XT1 42-inch cut. Not quite sure where to start this, but this fuse right here was blowing, and so I did some troubleshooting. That wire that's connected to the fuse goes through the chassis and it comes around to the ignition switch, red and white wire. So it feeds the ignition switch power through that plug. It also takes power from the alternator, which is right here. It goes through the rectifier and through this plug and to the battery. That's what charges the battery. Okay. So the fuses were blowing. Well, a couple of weeks before, I had problems cranking it. The engine wouldn't turn, and I got a pipe wrench and tried to figure out what was wrong with it. Well, come to find out, as of today, the flywheel magnets were falling apart and sticking to the stator. And this is the stator right here. You can see some magnets stuck to it right there. So, of course, I didn't know that. Today, I started taking it apart, troubleshooting. And isolating the circuits and undoing the diode. And isolated it until I found the ground. And of course the ground was there on the stator with the magnet stuck to it. And you can see where stuff really got screwed up. So anyway, pulled the flywheel off, found that problem, and I got parts ordered. The flywheel, you can see where the magnets are falling off of it. Of course, they're not bolted on. It looks like they're just glued on. Maybe a bad design. I've heard other people, read where other people commented about this happening. Okay, so here we have this is the grass screen. This is the bolt that holds the flywheel down. Take a 5/8 socket. It's right-hand thread. And when you take it off, you're just going to have to secure either the flywheel, or you can put a pipe wrench underneath where the drive shaft comes out of the bottom, where your drive belts for your mower come out. You can use a pipe wrench there to kind of back it up. Anyway, you'll pop this off with a screwdriver. It comes off real easy. You'll undo the bolt, take this off, that off. This lifts right off. It's the fan. Here's your flywheel. You can take this off. There's two bolts. This is your resistor. Your diode. This is your stator. And we'll be taking that off. Okay, so here's your electrical schematic. I'm going to show you what we're dealing with. This is your battery. This side is the negative. This is the positive. Here's your red wire. This is your, goes to your starter. Okay. Comes around. This is through your solenoid. There's your starter. Okay. You keep going with this wire. Here's your fuse. That's the fuse that blew. All right, it's a 20 amp automotive fuse. So it'll come up and it's going to split off here. Now the wire coming from the fuse is actually red and white. This is upside down, but it is red with a white stripe. So it plugs into the harness that goes to the switch. This is the key switch. Okay. So it's going to keep going. Then it goes here. This says the alternator, which is actually the stator. Okay. So same thing. Red wire with a white stripe. So to troubleshoot this thing, we need to find where the positive is going to ground. It's going to ground where it's not supposed to go to ground, which is why it blows the fuse. So you got a wiring harness that plugs up to your key switch. I unplugged that, so that isolated this power going there. And then I tested it at the harness plug to ground, and it showed a ground, so I knew it wasn't this. It had to be something to do with the alternator. Okay, let's talk about this flywheel here for a minute. If you looked at videos on YouTube about removing flywheels, you see a lot of them that have tapped holes, like two here, maybe something like this, that are tapped, threaded. This particular one doesn't. So I had a gear puller that I was able to fit onto it. This is it here. Get a little. And I'll show you a picture after this one, how to hook it up. This is a 0 to 8 inch spread. Probably a little bit better spread would have worked, but it's what I had. If you don't have one of these, you may be able to rent one from one of the big box store, Home Depot, Lowe's, so whoever rents tools. And what I did, if you notice on here, on the end of this shaft, let me zoom in. There's what I would call I guess a guide. Anyway, that's designed to put on a shaft so the puller doesn't go side to side while you're screwing it in. What I did is I took the bolt and I drilled a little hole. It's not perfectly in the center, but to kind of match that, so the puller shaft wouldn't try to move side by side. Did I have to do that? I don't know, maybe not. So anyway, I wanted to pass that on. Okay, this is just a shot of the puller set up to pull the flywheel. It's pretty simple, self-explanatory. On this puller, you've got adjustments here. I've got it set to the widest one. You grab the flywheel under the teeth. another shot. All you do is once you rig it up, you'll snug up on it, tighten it up using a wrench. Don't get crazy with it yet. And then you tap on the bolt, and you can hit it kind of hard, and it'll pop up. If it doesn't, tighten up a little bit more and hit it, and it'll pop up. Here's this shows this is one of the arms here that goes under the flywheel. You'll have to find a space for that arm to fit. In other words, like it probably wouldn't fit right here. The tolerance is too close. But you can work it around there and find a good spot. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and when you go to put this thing back together, don't lubricate the shaft or the flywheel with your new one. There's a chance you can over-torque it because of the lubricant, and actually break that flywheel. I want to pass that on. I've got a few final thoughts here. First of all, if you do not have a service manual for your engine, these are readily available on the Kohler website. This one covers my engine. I have an SV571 or something like that. Of course, this one covers, you can see a couple of engines. You can search using that number. Or you can search using this number. I have two copies. One's a Rev 0, which is the first edition, and a Rev 1, and this is a Rev F. So it's been several changes. Anyway, the reason you may want to get this is for your specifications, which would contain your torque values. If you choose to use a torque wrench, if you have one, go to the corresponding page, and it'll give you the flywheel torque and various other torques. So that's one thing. The other is I didn't take any videos of putting it back together. You can pretty much figure that out yourself. It's not hard. Once I got all my parts, I was done in about 30-45 minutes. And what I did do is I hooked up the stator first electrically, and I double checked to be sure that I still didn't have a ground and it was good. Put the flywheel on, test cranked it, and everything ran fine. So all I can tell you is good luck. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them.